While flavour-of-the-month indies are pretty typical, a select few manage to carve out their own little niche to sit comfortably in, sometimes by force. This is the case with today's subject, the Joker-heavy take on Solitaire, poker, and I'm sure any number of different card games. Balatro is simple until it isn't. You have to form hands of playing cards that are then scored and multiplied to reach a certain bid. At first, you'll need to focus on getting a good hand, but as the ante increases, you'll need to score higher and higher, far past where it's mathematically possible with your base deck and cards. Fail, and your run finishes, then it's right back to square one. That's where Balatro's signature mechanic comes in, the Joker. Not typically used in many card games, Jokers in Balatro are instead collectibles of their own. These range from giving you a randomized multiplier to multiplying your multiplier depending on other variables that you can mess with. You can even unlock more as you hit more milestones through successful and failed runs. Building up a competitive hand can lead you to not just meeting, but exceeding your required score. They come in different variations, sometimes activating only under specific circumstances, and more, all adding an enthralling spin to a typical card game. As you progress, while your ante increases, you'll also have the chance to hop into the store. Money that you win can only be spent there on new Jokers, booster packs, or other specific cards that expire after each run. You then move on to each different blind, starting with small, moving on to big, and then a boss blind, with some mechanics that may require you to play one type of hand, debuff certain cards, or just provide a ridiculous score to match. There are also tarot cards to change suits, planet cards to enhance the score of a given hand, or even spectral cards with destructive yet powerful abilities. If you're not a fan of traditional card games, you'd have to be a fool, pun intended, to not give Balatro a chance. This game is a great way to spend your time. The roguelike element means that each run is different, so you won't end up attached to a particular hand or style of play, as you'll have to adapt to the cards that are dealt you. This means that there's always a fresh challenge, but nothing can quite reach the same level of satisfaction as when you get a particularly great series of Jokers that boost your multipliers into the stratosphere. However, it is difficult to master, especially if you're not a player of traditional card games. Admittedly, it isn't really about winning in a regular sense, since the slow creep upwards in antes and the correspondingly ridiculous scores you need to achieve are basically aimed at you slowly increasing your high score each time and unlocking more Jokers. So really, by the time you finish any of the decks, Balatro probably already has its hooks firmly in you. Some more in the way of tutorials for advanced play wouldn't go amiss, like understanding how to prioritize Jokers, tarot, planet, or spectral cards would certainly help out. Although given that there's always the element of chance, you can understand why this might be a fool's errand. Pun definitely intended there. If you've been hesitant to try out Balatro, don't be. This eclectic mix of deck builder, roguelike, and card battler with a healthy lashing of surreal sounds and visuals is well worth the relatively minuscule fee or subscription to Apple Arcade to have it in the palm of your hand wherever you go. While other mobile card games may demand constant adherence to the meta and wrestling with the try-hardiest of tryhards, in Balatro, it's just you and Jimbo.